This is part one. I just want to see if anybody's on here live. Um, See what we're doing today. Uh, we're going to see what we got. We're going to talk for a little while. Let me see what I'm working with. We'll be on here early part of the day. I'll probably come back on later. Um, Pretty self-explanatory one I got going up. Today. Let me see what we got. I see a couple people here. I'm doing this early. I'm just going to be on briefly just to see what kind. See if anybody. What's up? How you doing? Good, 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 good. I see. I know when I'm going to catch you, so you're here for a while. I'm thinking about doing a two-part today, so I'm here early. I might come back later, but I'm here early. See if I could catch anybody a little bit differently. I got to go out today, and I might come back on later. I was a little bit on the weather yesterday, but I'm back. So we'll see if anybody wants to chop it up. Get y'all up out the bed wherever you are. Today is officially April the 4th. And we're gonna roll with the roll. So let's do this. So how honey. So don't be alarmed. Hope you Yeah, and it wasn't what you think it was either. Just a common type of code. It wasn't the you know what. Because I still have to say that because these rules and you can't say that. Hope I'm glad you feeling better too. Shaq got him. Shaq got him. And I'm gonna tell you how I know. Now, granted, Sabonis was pushing 50, but Sabonis Arvidas was a more mobile version of Jokic, and It's easier to say things when you got until you got to go out there and battle. Shaq at his peak in his prime, I haven't seen anyone better. Now I know before people bring up a live one, which I did see. It's hot for who? I guess that means I should do a video about it after I get through from here, and I will. But when Shaq was in his absolute peak and prime, he was dominant, but he was winning. That's where I keep having this issue with folks who don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about that fine topic. He wasn't just dominant in the season, he was winning plurals. It's a big difference when you're dominant in the regular season and you got one finals appearance to show for it and a win. But what have you done since then? We're 2 years removed from when you won, and no one is seeing you as a finals they say you may be the second best. What they gonna say back? What they gonna say back? Before they mention Kobe, Kobe played great, but that Nuggets team is better overall. And as someone who saw both eras, well, Jamal Murray ain't no chump. But you still got Michael Porter Jr. and you still got Aaron Gordon. Who did Shaq play with those cats? And Kobe wasn't quite Kobe. He got greater. Don't get it twisted. But uh we not talking about all that. Shaq was doing mighty fine. He did mighty fine. He made you have to go get 4 centers. He kept people gainfully employed. Jokic is in an era where he has to worry about who? Joel Embiid, who hardly plays twice and never plays him 2 times in a year. And he's got the best of Anthony Davis. Now, who else does he have to go against that's getting in his way? Who else? It's a cop out when you use a sidekick and say it's 2 of y'all. Not really, because Shaq had to go against those twin towers known as Duncan and Robinson. And they weren't friendly. They wouldn't let him just hanging all on the rim on them. So no. But I guess I will have to do that video, but I'll put that to bed. Everything was stacked against Shaq that year because Iverson had got the MVP. Larry Brown got the coach of the year. They had the six man of the year. Dikembe was even they had everything, the best cheerleaders, the best food, and then Shaq just tore their butt up. I'm not saying his numbers aren't great, but I didn't seen this song and dance before. I seen it in a guard. His name was James Harding. I mean, how's that end? They act like when Jokic has got 2 or 3 rings, get back to me. When he goes to multiple finals, get back to me. When they can actually look like a team that can contend and not battling to be 3rd, 4th, or 5th, get back to me. You knew when Shaq was running things, they were going to win. You know nothing with Jokic. They don't play defense, they're half-hearted, and Mike Malone doesn't instill anything of depth. He's played the best basketball on the best team, and he has surpassed a lot of people. John Morant should be very much ashamed of himself. Yeah, because they playing like a team that wants to win. They're not settling. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't sit there waiting for fanfare and get patted on your head. You tear that butt up. That's what he doing. That's why I hold SGA in high regards. Shoot. I mean, people up here crying about, well, I said, no, he's the best player playing today as far as his team, and he's the MVP. He should have gotten it last year. He's definitely going to get it this year. There's no questions. But even more importantly than that, they added Heinstein, got him from New York, Alex Caruso. They got added what they needed. That's a man's team. That's a team. If they healthy and they go in all the way, because he's, you know what? You gave him the one necessary help. All you had to do is play a little defense and give him some help. He gonna be good. And don't forget about him. It's convenient to forget about him. He can't show up when you put that ball when you strip him. Draymond stripped him at the end. He can't put the ball on the floor. You don't let him wiggle on the top of the key and do his James Harden antics and furl back and three dash and move. Ain't much to his game. They're in a situation where they're just hoping they can shoot themselves to stay in a lot of these games and get some defense or some. But Jarvis Hayes, the 2 points in 15 minutes was embarrassing. See, this is where you miss Anthony Davis. You ain't got no booty in the glass. You gonna have some problems, and you gonna get exposed. I don't know about that, but I'll say this though: he just, he picked his pockets cleanly because Luca is frailing. He can't drive like that, and he just looks beat because they don't have an easy type of situation. They have to play us so tight. They need Austin Reeves to go off. They need LeBron. They need those guys to play up. They're not up. They don't have what they had with AD. They got more firepower, but they ain't got, you know. So just saying. I did a video about it. Hit that fall away, and he came back. And I'm telling you, if that dude is healthy, next year, watch out. Especially they come back full throttle and they pick up a couple pieces in the off season. I'm telling you, I could come back to hunt LA. I know why they went and got Luca. I get it. You need to sell jerseys. AD don't sell no jerseys. Oh Snoopy head turkey don't sell no jerseys. He boring. He's bland. But he fit your plan. He fit what y'all do. Y'all ain't got no rim protector. And you're gonna be problematic. Yeah, I saw that because Trey usually finds a way to make that shot. That's why AD could be a problem. The only person that makes some shots like that over AD is Jamal Murray and Jokic. Everybody else, he coming to get you. They gonna miss him in LA more than they think. More than they think they will. So I expect there gonna be more of that. I don't know about Draymond getting defensive player of the year, but I'll say this. If they had a play like that, the way they looked with Jimmy Butler, he probably would have. Then they would have been a fourth seed at the worst. And they still got a chance to do some climbing. Let the Lakers lose a couple of games and they win a couple. Who knows? And he isn't over yet. And LA got kind of a brutal schedule because they got to play the Rockets and they got to go play OKC twice. So that's not going to be easy. There's nothing unexpected. Um, if they were healthy and had not have had all those injuries, uh, Orlando would have been interesting because Pablo's nice. They just got behind the eight ball and they got play in. Nobody out the West unless Memphis miraculously does something different. That's the only one I would expect to be on. Because the West is pretty predictable, and it really ain't that. If the Celtics play like they're motivated and focused, yeah. Because if they got everybody healthy, it's gonna be hard to beat them. It's gonna be hard to beat them. I can see that already. It's gonna be hard to beat them. So, you know. But the problem is that there's nothing that's unexpected really because I mean, I see too many flaws with these teams. OKC is except from experience, which can be overrated, but the way they're playing, they look like they battle tested. They look like they could be fit to play Boston in the finals or Cleveland the next 2 or 3 years. I don't see nobody else in the West that I would put money on. You should want to put money on Jokic. And I am going to do a video about the Jokic against Shaq thing. I find it hilarious because I just. All right, now, people out here viewing, please come on here. If you want to talk, feel free. Me and Jay Will can't be all by ourselves. As the people out there want to come on through, please hit that poll up. If you plan on protesting, so we can let me know. Because tariffs are really real. People got thoughts and feelings, so let me know. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate that for the donation, Jay Will. Much obliged. Oh, I laugh. That's funny. Oh, that is too funny. That's too funny. That's too funny. Boy, oh boy. Nick Nurse got thrown out that game too last night. That's sad. He did not sign up for that disaster. Boy, talk about the tragedy. Mm, mm, mm. I can't recall a coach who had a championship pedigree who went to a team that didn't just flop on him, but just didn't really play. That's the saddest part. Because Paul Pierce spent most of his time doing what I'm doing. And Joel Embiid, eh, I can't. I want to say Phoenix, but at least Durant, Booker, and Beal actually played. They suck. Don't play no defense, but I bet you can't. I'm a Miami Heat fan, so I feel just as much as you do for different reasons. Cause that freak show with Jimmy Butler and Pat Riley set the team back, and the chemistry was off. And they are trying to see, okay, does Taylor Tyler Hero, is he a alpha? Bam is. What we gonna do? What we got? It's all over the place. So I'm looking forward to this season being over as a Heat fan for different reasons. But unlike your team, I didn't come in with no real expectations. I thought we were gonna be bottom feeder. If we were lucky, somewhere between 6 to 8. Philly, I thought would have been in the 1 through 4 slot, probably somewhere between 2 to 4. I did not see Tank City. And only because the Eagles did what they did is the reason why you don't catch more flames from the Sixer fans. That's the only reason. And of course, we'll see what the Phillies do and the Flyers do, but I'm just saying that's the only reason why you don't. So, well, it's been a tough season. Happens to us all. Yeah, like I said, that's the only reason why the Sixers don't fans well, you don't catch more heat. Believe me, if they because they need something to cheer about because that was big. But I'm telling you, they're gonna be they don't let them know though next year though. That was embarrassing. Paul George looks embarrassing because the Clippers look like they could actually the Clippers if Kawhi is playing. Of course, you're gonna get doubly humiliated. The fact that you admit that in public, it has hurt the product because they should just let the guys either come straight out of high school, or if a guy goes to college, plays for a couple years, that's one thing. But it's just another hustle, and it has cheapened the quality. Guys go to college to play 1 year and run in and run out, and they come to the NBA, and it's like they haven't really uh matured, not because of their skill set as far as playing the game, but life. That's the thing. A lot of these cats come in and the money fast and women fast and everything else is fast, and then they crash out. And the NBA is suffering from it, though. It is suffering. And it's stupid that they have an 18-year-old rule because they should just let them come in. If you can play after high school, let them come in. Because college basketball, that's why they're paying. But it's hurt college basketball too. What's up? What's up? Doing good. Thank you for coming through. I think it's hurt both sides in different ways. You know, I think the NBA's problem is that it shows that the lack of maturation and understanding and how they prepare for the games. And I think in college, it's because what's happening? How you doing? UK in the house. Thank you for coming through. So, that's the price they want. That's what they wanted. That's what they wanted. So, that's the only happy medium. And I think, except that Carmelo could run the court better, had an outside shot, could create. And this is the thing. Um, I know Dr. J Moses was older and Andrew Tony was hurt, but he came into a better situation than Carmelo. Carmelo did take Utah to the Western Conference Finals in 1987, 88. And how do you say you rely too much on a point guard who's doing his job? No, he took better care of himself. That's the bottom line. Barkley don't want to face the facts. Karl Malone put in more effort. If Charles Barkley put in the kind of effort Karl Malone did on his body, we'd be talking about Charles Barkley as one of the 12 greatest players ever. If he took the pride, if he ran on it like Karl Malone did. How you gonna rely on a guy when you learn how to shoot a fadeaway shot? Karl Malone could pass. He was a productive rebounder. So I don't know what's he talking about. And he played at a high level longer too. Barkley fell off. Don't make me have to go and pull the Karl Malone file and get this over once and for all. Listen, we all love Barkley better, personally wise, but the better player was Karl Malone. He has have these lapses where he forgets. hmm And I know he has a tendency to try to downplay stuff because he act like people got short term memory and don't want to remember that. You know. So I'm glad to have people come to remind him because he's just embarrassing. Good to hear from the UK. Thank you, Hammer. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Mm-mm. Listen, I love Barkley more like most people did, and he was a freak of nature, 6'4", the way he wobble and wibble like he did. But he didn't put the effort that Karl Malone did. Karl Malone put the effort in, put the time in. You don't get to be that ranking as a top 2 or 3 great scoring all those points without putting the work in. He put the work in. As a matter of fact, even though when he went to the Lakers and he was older now, etc., he fit the triangle pretty good. He just was older, but he fit the triangle pretty good. He never got to play with a dominant center or even a legit good center in Utah. We'll never know. But I can tell you this much. I'm not trying to hear what Charles Barkley trying to say that mess though. He just don't want to face the facts, you know. So I ain't trying to hear that though. Okay. Let's see what we're working with. This is a good one too. Ooh, this is a good one. Woo! Three of the greatest coaches ever. Um, I'm going to start Pat Riley. Bench Phil Jackson and cut Pop. Pat Riley because the implements of the styles and the nuances he was able to use in totality was very impressive. And he was that dominant figure of the three before everything started. Phil, different, but there was a commonality. They got a lot out of their role players. The Spurs' success with the Patty Mills, uh, with certain guys, well, because Pat Riley was like the guy you'd start with. Philosophy. He had an aura, and he was able to ignite three different teams to the finals. I mean, think about it: the Lakers, the Knicks, and the Heat. That's why I say it. Phil Jackson is a polisher. He's a finisher, and that's why I bench him because he knows how to finish it up, bringing it on. Pop was great, but when the whole thing with Kawhi and everything ensued, he didn't adapt to changes. And those two adapted. Now, Pop, when he had the right nucleus of Duncan, Parker, Ginobili, and he had the Patty Mills come off the bench and the Boris Diaws and all that. But what happened with the influx of Golden State and the styles changing, they became irrelevant. And you don't forget how to coach. You don't, you know how to adapt. Pat Riley learned how to adapt on the fly. Phil Jackson, because Pat Riley with Kareem and Magic to what he had with Ewan and Starks, the Shaq and D Wade, and adding others, he showed what he could do. He was always competing high level. No, I think that he balanced it greatly with Duncan and Robinson. But I think that those two guys, what I said, the difference is those guys adapted to the changes in the game. The field control Eagles the best of the three. I'd say, because I don't think Pat Riley would have done well with Dennis Rodman. And I don't even know if Rodman would have been a Pat Riley kind of player. It's different philosophies. Pat Riley had such a way that he would do it so coded. Yes, you saw the naked eye of the great players that stood out, but it was the others that were so big that you didn't see the little details. And you know how to manipulate it really well. So it's a different nuance to the stylings, you know. But they all three are the greatest coaches ever. It's hard to play that role. It's hard to play that role. That was probably one of the best ones you gave me yet. The start bench and cut it. I might do that for a future episode of something on one of my videos because I had to think about it. But I have to. X's and O's is Larry Brown. Larry Brown X's and O's. Oh, of those three X's and O's, who was the better of those three? Pop. And you're gonna ask me why would I say that after I cut him? Because Popovich, they layered their things on what Duncan could do. And Duncan was able to manipulate so well and that he because he was a multitask manipulative guy who doubled in position. And then Parker and Ginobili slid. They all slid. And they beat you at your this the thing. What he did better than those two, they could beat you at your game. You couldn't beat them at their game. Unless you had a Shaquille O'Neal or a Kobe Bryant. Anything less than that, think about it. If it wasn't for Shaq's dominance and then Kobe doing what he did later, Spurs probably got about closing in on Russell Celtics. Probably. Think they went to six finals and won five. Imagine there's no Shaq, especially them 3 years when Shaq was running and won four times in 5 years. If there's no Shaq, Duncan might have about eight, nine rings. Think about it. So X's and O's, he strategized. The reason why I give Riley and Pat Riley and Field more juice is because they knew they had the players big time and they utilized that, but then they utilized the styles and changes. They adapted more to the speed, like we need shooting more. Pop was more of a traditionalist. And I know that Kawhi Leonard was a hard act to follow and a big thing to fall off, but the way they fell off after he left, that just was too much. So but that's my personal opinion though. Now you can call me wrong. I'm just gonna say what I said. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I'm just saying what I said. Most of the guys that are better X's and O's coaches are like more attention to detail. Like Riley, had he coached like the Knicks and the Heat, I probably would have said him. But what happened in LA is because that was a whole style. That was downright revolutionary. So we talk about Showtime, you gotta have Pat Riley as your starter. You talk about the triangle with Tex Winter and Phil, that's gotta come off the bench. And then I gotta work my way to Pop. Because Pop had more traditional styling, but you know, so That's all. I hope that helped. All right, please keep on talking to Paul. Pop, Red Arbok, Red Arbok, Phil Jackson, Pat Riley, Greg Popovich. Those are my four. Red Arbok's gonna always be number one. He put the team together. He structured it. He was the architect of it. So Red Arbok is number one. He was the standard. He's the standard of every team you put as a GM. Whatever you do, to me, he's that blueprint. He's one of the few most important faces that didn't play the game. Pop is number four for me because what he accomplished is incredible. That was a dynasty run. It was incredible. He won 5 championships, 6 finals appearances, and had 20 years of great records. You can't dispute that. Now he may have tanked to get Tim Duncan and they got Kawhi Leonard, but that's all. Not that I recall, no. But I respect his coaching stigma and what they got out of it. I definitely respect his, you know. Yeah, but they were role players. They were like third tier dudes. They were just tall, lanky, and shaggy. Nothing memorable. They were like guys that were off the bench to the bench. You wouldn't even see those kind of players today's NBA because if you can't shoot a three, they ain't no use for you. That style of NBA ended about 10 years ago. But in that era, if you could be scrimmage and you practice and you played, yeah, they were tall, but they would be considered third tier cats at best. They weren't no Jerry West and they weren't no Larry Bird, you know. So, but it's usually cats like them and Danny Ainge, who was a good athlete but average player, had average career. Steve Kerr, those are guys that end up being head coaches. It's always the mediocre cats that turn out to be great coaches because they get the opportunity. Don't ask me why. Well, I think I know why. They did. Exactly. And they had to sacrifice, they had to get called all kinds of names and take the blunt of the blame. So that's what happened. And you learn a lot too, because you're getting knowledge on a huge capacity. You're not somebody who uh, isn't going to serve this up. Yeah, it's crazy. You're getting treated like a mini Forrest Gump. So that's how I look at it. No, because it's all about opportunities. But there's a lot of politics involved, and guys got agendas. Are you going, Duke? What's that mean? What you mean, I'm going, Duke? Yeah, I guess they, this is what they want. I mean, they got a good squad. You know, I told you before, college sports is so predictable after a while that it's kind of like UConn with the women and Duke with the men. So you watch it, and it's almost like you can pretty much see who's going to do what. So it's not surprising. By the way, I'll be on for 25 more minutes because I'll make it an even hour, and I'll do that. He looks good. He just, like I said, he's a work in progress. I'm going to be interested in how they want him to be what they got agenda. He can play. Not really, because I seen him in high school and he looked good. But again, it's different levels to this. Again, expectations to what? When he plays in the pros, I'll see what's up. To what? Right now, to me, I'd say he looks like a double Junior Whopper version of Tom Chambers. And that's a compliment. He looks more Tom Chambers than he does Larry Bird. I know that's not what they want to hear, but that's what he puts me in a frame of mind of. Which is a compliment because Chambers is one of those guys who could be a Hall of Famer and who was in that really the very good circle for a minute. But again, depends on where a cat gets drafted, where he goes, who's his coach. You know, because a Cooper Flat comes to the NBA and he goes to Brooklyn, what do you think's going to happen? More political appeal than Caitlin Clark appeal. Different appeal. He strikes me more like conservatives would have him at a roast or something because it's a stiffness. Doesn't quite have her reach. It's a different reach. No one surpasses my expectations until I see him on the next level. Let's get that straight. Because once I see you on the pro level, then I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't see that coming. You know, like how you looked at Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, or you looked at Steph Curry. That's what we mean surpass your expectations. You didn't see that kind of a career coming. That's when we use that language. Other than that, nobody surpasses my expectations if they can play. It's just now when you get to the next level, who are going to, you know, well, they need a white hero. Let's just cut to the chase. That's what it's all about. We need clean cut, wholesome Clark Kent. We need him. And he's born and bred, and we're putting everybody else out the country. We need him. That's what they're hoping. But I don't know. I don't know. And see, again, it depends on where he goes, depends who his coach is. There's a lot of factors involved. Of course they are. Because now they're having to find ways to push Jokic. And they're finding ways to push any and Luca. And you know how they pushing it. But they get homegrown back. They get homegrown. They're like, oh, we're good. Or what they hope. And the league is soft enough to make him look like he's something, and he looked good for what I didn't see for what he's doing, but he ain't really going against no grown men. It's a big difference when you come to the pros. Big difference when you got 82 game schedule. And sometimes you get back to back. Sometimes, you get hurt. Kevin Love was good in UCLA. And If he has the career that Kevin Love would have had if Kevin Love didn't go to Cleveland and stayed in Minnesota, that'd been a group. Because Kevin Love would have had a Hall of Fame career if he stayed in Minnesota. Numbers wise, he was balling. He just didn't have the help, but his numbers was legit. I can't say that because again, I gotta see him play on the next level. I gotta see who his coach is. I gotta see what team drafts him. I gotta see, you know, can't say that. That's not fair. You asked me about a higher calling, peace be unto you. Salam alaikum. He was bad, but the problem was he was in Minnesota and he was just gonna be appreciate you. He was just gonna be a guy that was stat pad. So, you know, I remember Kevin Love UCLA with Russell Westbrook. He kept a little weight on him in the beard, and then I remember when, and he wish he was in Cleveland right now. Though. They actually got good. He got shortchanged by messing with LeBron though. His career was never he did get the ring, he went to all them finals, but he that guy that looked like he could have been a Hall of Famer just turned into a really good player, which is nothing to sneeze at, but not that guy that I remember. And we forgot how good Kevin Love was. We forgot. Because to me, he's almost been retired for the last 5 years. I mean, he playing. I know he's with them Heat, and I'm aware of his passing, but I haven't, you know, I haven't thought about his game like that in about 10 years. I'm talking about where I looked at him and thought, okay, this guy. I think ESPN had one of them top 100 players, and he made like 97, 98, or something like that on that list. That was years ago. He wouldn't make it now, you know. So that's a shame. That's a shame. November how so Dr. Coleman passed away. Well, bless your grandmother's heart, and that's a beautiful age too. Yeah, it's funny. His impact is felt where people are still, in so different ways. What a creation that was. Down goes Frazier. I'm not gonna know. I don't know who you are, but I'll just say, "What's up, Saltine?" Because I don't say nothing if it don't tell me what it means. I'm not trying to offend nobody. I don't know what it means, but what's up? Say that was an iconic moment. Foreman hit that, and he could hit too. But that's nice about your grandma, though. I had my veggie pizza on the Foreman grill recently. It was good. It was kind of like a calzone with zucchini. It was good. It was good. I don't know what you're going on about saltine Alaska, but it's called politeness. And I said your name, but be polite. We're having a nice discussion here. So I don't even want to come out here being rude. And I don't like that message at all. Okay, so we got 15 more minutes. I'm thinking about coming back on later on for. I got 15 more minutes. I'll be on 15 more minutes. I'm thinking about coming on later and doing another set. Trying to catch people who used to come on early. We're gonna see. But anyway, I'm gonna be on for another 15 minutes. We're gonna see. But yeah, Foreman. That sure was. That was when the heavyweight fight meant heavyweight. Excuse me. That's when the heavyweight fight meant heavyweight. Okay. See what we working with. Mm, I like Cade Cunningham a lot. They remind me of what the Pacers were last year. They probably need another scorer on the team. But I like Isaiah Stewart and I like Cade Cunningham a lot. I like the way they play. They gotta get a balance though. And I think they could be a legit team. Second tier in the East though. They're not better than but they're gonna be a problem though. I'll tell you like this. There won't be no pushovers. And do what? He too old for that. He goes somewhere they could win the championship. He can go nowhere just to wear a jersey. If anything, he go back to OKC. Now, I tell you, go to Detroit and they would run things with be honest. That'd be scary. But what they got, because that's the only thing they missing is a Ram truck. Cam, Cade gives them passes the way they play. It could be problematic. All right, 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes. We got some more people taking this poll. It's pretty close. I imagine there will be quite a few coming through. Mm-mm. When you're good, you earn those calls. When you dominate, you earn those calls. Goes with the territory. The problem that people got problem with is that they're not really noticing that his game is just that much that they have to. He forces the issue when he drives to the hole. He's gonna get those calls. He's earned it. You know, people can't be all up in arms because he's doing his thing. And of course, there are games where he never did get the call. So, it works 6 way, have to have a dozen and the other way too. Different argument altogether. James Harden had a chance to be on a whole nother level, and Embiid too. It's not the same. SGA is with the team that no one even gives a second thought of win to. Harden had Dwight Howard. He had some situations where he just folded like a chair, and Embiid, no, it's different. But no, SGA situation is a different kettle. Mm. Not easy, but they're winning. They're beating all three of those teams. The only one of those three teams that is really could be a problem is the Clippers, and that's because of Kawhi. But the Clippers don't play. Let me break this down. The Mavericks are short on people. Without Kyrie, it's not the same. Their defense is substandard. Play is not consistent anymore. So everything is a nip and tucked to the wire. So I don't really buy that. Minnesota, Julius Randle got to be the X factor. He has to play out his mind, and he never does. So you know what Ant's gonna do and Gobert gonna show, but Julius would be the X factor. And for the Clippers, Zubas would have to make them pay in the paint. And I don't think they got enough overall. So it won't be easy, but I got OKC coming out easily. That's why none of those teams really are moving me. But the Clippers could be a problem. They can be a little bit of a problem. Kawhi's got that rep. And not saying they can't go 6 games. But if everybody's healthy and full throttle, I see OKC not having much of a problem. Please continue to hit that like button, hit that poll question. And like I said, I will consider coming back on later. This is the first live. I consider doing another one later. Okay. Denver, his best coach, his best situation. He was a gun for hire when he left there, and he didn't really capitalize like he could have gone to Chicago, or Miami. He thought he wanted to be front and center without being front and center. His best situation was in Denver, but he won't get to retire that number 15 jersey though. So yeah, and he played like he took the bag too, because he didn't play. He had some moments, but we never got the fullness out of him. Mm-mm. And then after that, when he went to Houston and LA and Portland, it was just bad. So I remember his New York days very well. No, because Carmelo left them hanging. Now I'm gonna tell you like this: they didn't think Jokers was gonna probably turn into that. They had no idea that was gonna happen. They just gave him the number. No, because Melo left them. He went to New York, and he left early in his career. Had they won a finals or made an appearance, had gone to went to one West Conference Finals. So maybe if he gave him a little bit more to work with, he didn't give him much to work with. He gave him an incomplete. So they did what they supposed to do. Melo played long enough to be, Hall of Fame enshrined. Plus, if you include his college career, which he was great in, I'll give you that with Melo. But no, they weren't wrong. But Melo has to walk around feeling like a big asterisk because he did not get what he's supposed to get all about his career, and he wasn't competing for championships. So who cares about that? And it's not because Simone Biles wants to can raise your stakes. I don't think Simone Biles would like that too well. I don't think Michael Phelps would like your statement too well. I don't think Usain Bolt would like your statements too well. You see where I'm going with this? No. And I know something about Olympics too. Nobody cares because as long as they win the gold, that's all that matters. And it don't matter how many. Thing about it is, it makes his NBA career like they had to do extra to cover up his shortcomings. See, that's why he's a guy that underachieved. If you won all them gold medals and you never went to NBA finals and you scored all them points and you're all star and all that, and you didn't. No, no. It looked like he was a stat patter who shortchanged his, you know. Okay. Okay. I am going to conclude now. Are you going to be on back later? Because I'll probably be on about probably in about 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours. If you're going to be on, let me know. I got to take a break, but I will be back. I appreciate the donation. Appreciate the conversation, holding it down. It's been a long time since we chopped it up. I'm glad that you came through. Appreciate you. I'm gonna go disappear. Appreciate the people that took the poll. All right. Well, you'll find me if you own. Let's holler. Thank you for coming through. Okay, I got you. Well, I'll catch you next time if I can't catch you this time. Appreciate you coming through though. Have a good one, and, and thanks again for donations. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, and glad you feeling better too. Nice talking to you too. Peace out.